Okay, I hope this is gonna work. I gotta clean the fish and everything like that, but it's the 3rd of March, 2025, and my thought keeps going back to February 28th. Anyone that follows politics at all is probably sick of this fucking story, but it involves Zelensky being at the White House and then everything that's transpired since then, and just kind of the overall feel. Well, politics are scary, and it's all business, one way or another. Wars suck. Unfortunately, our species makes them necessary. No one wants them, and everybody relies on that. There's never been a war fought where everyone involved acted with everyone's best interest at heart. To fight a war, you cannot think about your adversary more than you think about your populace. And just that alone shows that you have to judge. You know, obviously there's some judgment there and judgment calls because you're in a war. But we'll get down to the nitty gritty and stuff like that. My wife, she's Chinese, and she kind of half-heartedly asked me the other day if I thought about moving back to China, because that way we can avoid all this political talk and stuff. And China show a lot of growth, which they will continue to show growth. They're a valuable economic partner, and she can, do whatever. She has 3 masterates, a couple of doctorates, all kind of stuff. She's way up in her fields and stuff. And she come back and teach English, because, I kind of half-hearted joke back, I go over, teach English to folks who want to grow up and move here. Nah. Weren't really serious about it or anything like that. Selecting a proper knife here because I have a fish to clean. I'm a chef instructor. I write and I farm. I grow cannabis. All legal, by the way. I'm licensed. Fuck everybody. Pardon my French, but they watch me close. I know they do. So I don't mess around with that at all. And been music producing and stuff like that, but it's springtime, so all back into farmer gear, farm mode full on now, because all the hard freezes have passed, hopefully, so I can prepare the ground, which is what I've been doing the last few days, but this isn't about that. But I always mention writings, and I do a few opinion pieces, so you're gonna hear background noise. That's me again cleaning a fish. It's a very nice yellowfish, they call it. Very, very nice. Yep. Scale that rascal. So I'll go ahead and clean them. And just a tiniest bit of, salt, just the tiniest little bit. And I use, we like to use sea salt. Not because, it's sea. No, just light salt on your fish. Just don't want the iodine. You hear additional noise here because, as I said, I am a farmer. I got chickens. That's where I get our eggs from. They'll get all these nice scraps. close that damn shelf. Anyway, I was talking about writings, and I do a lot of writing, but it's because I'm a farmer. You know, it gives me a lot of time to do a lot of thinking. There's no one else here. It's me. You know, it started off extremely small. Extremely. It's still a one-man operation. I raise cattle with my brother, but he's a contractor. So, yeah. He's here at different times during the year. But for what I do, and that's raising a few cows with him, which that takes care of our beef needs, which is huge. But having a good milk cow is hard to come by. Tried a few over the years, hadn't been successful in finding the best one yet. But I'll get off on the farming tangents or chef tangents if you don't watch me, so just I try and settle myself. Again, it's about writing and whatnot. And I say that, but I don't call myself a writer, because too many people have this opinion or this impression that if you're a writer, then you have to get paid for writing. Who does something just because they enjoy doing it? Right? Artists do. You know, everybody knows people who just paint a picture because they want to. I'll do that. If I feel like drawing something, I'll draw it. If I'm, you know, playing with the girls or hanging out with the girls, they want to draw pictures, they want to paint, well, I'm doing something too. And of course, halfway through, they're going to have to help me because, you know, Magnolia's 2 and Little June's 4. So sometimes they have to help me paint on my picture. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. But that's not, you know, about what you're painting, that's who you're painting it with. You know, that's time hanging out with your girl, so that's something totally different. But whenever I'm doing my writing, those are my thoughts. And I write them down for me. Because I just, you know, think about something, it's like, I kind of like that. I'll just put a little note in my phone. Later on, I might take several notes and compile and make a poem. Or if they have a similar theme, I'll group them or whatever. Or maybe I'll just go off on a tangent and I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice. I don't receive any money. You know, no songs I've made that I know of have made money. I don't really know how to make money with them. If I did, that'd be fantastic. But I don't. I'm honest. I could put all my effort toward that, but I don't. I got a family to take care of. And I do enjoy farming. You know, why can't I just do other stuff because I enjoy doing it? I don't drink. I have a few beers with my brother on occasion, but the last time I drank was, oh heck, it is 3-4 months ago maybe. Had a couple beers with my brother and that was it. And prior to that, it might have been 6-7 months whenever he was home or something like that, you know. It's not a big drinker. I know about a lot about, I'm not going to edit that out, you're going to hear that. I was getting tongue twisted. I know a lot about partying and that kind of lifestyle. Chef, if you know who chefs are, yes. There's a reason we like Bourdain. You know? He's cool. Seems like a real cool fella. But to his own admission, he used a packet of Knorr at the Culinary Institute of America. Well, that kind of stuck with me. I said, dude, we're told that, you know, all these other culinary schools and stuff like that, the CIA is just, wow, ooh, it's the stuff. And it's billed as being the stuff. But I've met folks from the Culinary Institute of America, you know, gone through their program, and I didn't see much, you know, much difference. Anyone can tell you, again, that is competent in the kitchen if you have a cool head, you can pretty much do anything. You can do the mechanical approach and just um, have everything exactly the same. Well, you need that. That's consistency. Okay, there's certain chefs that thrive on that. That's going to be your resort type chef, like a cafeteria setting. Casinos. Those are great. Then you got some chefs that are just creativity, balls to the wall. Well, there's some high end places that just push the limits. That's their target. You got other guys that are like, you know what? I want something good and stable. In my hometown here, they got their own place. Or they go and find a smaller franchise, become their, head chef, their regional chef, whatever. Tons of avenues. Personal chefing's always there. Chefs are chefs. But chefs also know how to party. Especially any kind of resort or big city chef. They know all about partying. But there's one thing I didn't like about Bourdain is just using that pack of Nor. Now I'm like, it don't really matter. But when I read that book, because I read it way back in culinary school, I read, that was Kitchen Confidential. I read that on the recommendation of Chef Scott, who was one of the chefs at the school. He was from New Jersey. I didn't like him in the kitchen at all. And I even told him this. In the kitchen, I couldn't stand that rascal. Because we just had different vibes. We're both kind of growly old for no reason. He's not really mean, but he's kind of got that New Jersey assholeness about him, right? Well, I'm not really mean, but I got that Mississippian assholeness about me, It just don't match. But in business class, he was the most cool, chill dude. I love that dude to death in business class. In business class. And I tried to convey some sympathies or whatever whenever his, I won't call him his girlfriend. I don't think they were married. They had talked about it. Maybe it was his fiance. They had strong feelings with her. They were together for quite a while, maybe 8-12 years. Maybe even longer, She was a chef, had her own unique style and everything like that. She came in and did a little guest chef spot for us. After her passing or whatnot, it was after I'd, gone off, and I think I was out in Colorado for a while at the time, after school, and sent my condolences or whatever to him. And kind of how, I thought of him, it's like, didn't like you here, but liked you there. And that jackass just said something about, I never really got that from you. Like, you fucking son of a bitch. But that's kind of his assholiness about him, I'm like, fuck you too, man. I'm sorry for trying to, just, tell you how I fucking feel in the moment. Because that's all that really was. That's gonna sound weird as fuck. But that's just the different types of chefs. Is what I'm overall getting at here. Because like I told you gotta watch me, or we're gonna have a farming or a culinary tangent from this overall thing, which is supposed to be a writing theme, right? But maybe that's part of writing right there, and that's the chaotic nature of writing. And that's true. That's something I dig about it. In the kitchen, I never. Oh, here I go again. Fuck it. This is what I do. Deal with it. In the kitchen, I never know if I'm gonna have everything I need, because I'm not the only one in the kitchen. If I lived by myself, I would know exactly what I had. But I don't. If I worked in a restaurant, it was just me, I would know exactly what was there. That's all it is.
reason I say all that, because you have to kind of adapt whenever you're in the kitchen. That's a natural thing, but it's also part of the chaos. And that chaos can also be found in a math equation. I like math and science too. I'm just, you know, not the brightest in any one of the fields, but if I have an interest in it, I've always just absorbed as much as I could find out about it and then add my own twists and turns here and there as they kind of fit. Chaos is great. I also play Magic the Gathering. No one gives a fuck anymore except for people who still play Magic the Gathering. So for other Magic the Gathering players, hell yeah. Or who, all those who don't play or who want to deny that they ever got into the game, even if they left it behind them. Yeah, whatever. I got kids, so they're gonna play with me, and I still got all my old cards. So haha. And then I still got a few buddies from college, and that was one thing we'd do. We'd play cards. You know, weren't running out to the bars all the time because we found it to be a lot cheaper and a lot smarter just to go ahead and get the alcohol and then go and park it somewhere, play some cards, watch a football game, whatever. We're guys. But we all had a nerd side, and Magic the Gathering had awesome art. That's what hooked me. But you have that chaotic side of that. I always appreciate the chaos. And chaos comes from raw emotion and just feelings. How you think about it, and that is reflected in a lot of my writings. Yeah, my wife, she doesn't really read them. No one really reads my stuff. I'd go on Rhymer's Block and post stuff there, and there's a few folks that like stuff and whatnot, but some of that is just clout chasers, I guess you want to call them. They want you to like their stuff, and then they're going to go like yours, and oh, you got more like. I don't give a fuck about that. Same thing on Twitter. Oh my gosh, I got on dang Twitter. It's like 2009 or something like that. Checked it out and I was whatever. Well, think about who was owning it at the time and how everything was. And I came back and tried it a couple times just because my friends, whatever, said, "Hey man, you use Twitter?" I said, check it out. Like, oh yeah, this changed and that changed, and slowly you could see through the years Twitter got a little better, a little worse, a little better, a little worse. Though it'll be perfected whenever it is. You can call it X if you want to. I don't give a fuck. They want you to call it whatever the fuck they want you to call it. I'll call it whatever I feel like calling it in the moment. I'm not endorsed by anyone. I got that fish done. We gotta work clean and concise and have a proper preparation of this fish here. I don't half-ass stuff. Especially not when it comes to feeding a family. Crazy? Anyhow, see everybody chasing the clout and stuff on Twitter. That ain't what I've ever been about. On a few occasions, people have actually liked some of my stuff, and at first, I was like, "Oh wow, thanks for liking my stuff." I didn't know the fucking rules. I think that scared the fuck out of a lot of people. And I didn't know the apparent proper Twitter etiquette because I got more stuff to do in my damn time than to find out all the rules online and how I have to behave on certain different fucking websites. The only thing I know about the internet, really, is that you don't want to piss off fuckers on Reddit. And that's a truism. I first heard that a long time ago in a joke as part of someone's set, and I can't recall who it was, but that is not mine at all. That's somebody else's truth, but it is very fucking true, so I call it that. Whoever is on Reddit, they don't pull punches. I have a couple posts on there myself because I dig their raw, brutal honesty. And that's what people expect from Reddit. I've given honesty and whatnot. I've given honest opinions. Actually, I had somebody, they're asking for people to read their script. And they said they had a file and everything like that, and it sounded like they were, just getting it right. And I was like, trying to be nice guys. Okay, yeah, I'll read it, because no one else would. And I got the file, and I was like, you dumbass, you're not gonna open this. You don't fucking know them. So yeah, I was like, I never said shit about it, and they never asked about it. I was like, yeah, this is some bullshit. So, you almost caught me slipping there, but I snapped into the fucking reality again. But that's just from trying not to look for the worst in people. I've always had that problem. Trying to look for the best. I've seen the worst in a number, as a lot of people do as they, get age on them. And they experience life. But anytime I'm writing, I'm honest. I see a lot of different stuff. And it's just random moments of life. Right? Everyone else has stories. I just happen to have a lot of stories. Didn't set out to get them, but I got them. I don't share my stories with everyone, but I talk about different moments, whether it's in a poem, in a story, or I do a little video or something like this. I got so many of these that are just on file. I've got phones worth. I mean, it's pretty fucking bad whenever you fill up a phone. But I've got phones worth. And as I said, I'm a farmer. Long before I ever did any writing, because I wasn't confident enough in my writings. I really wasn't. I thought, there's always somebody better. There's always this, there's always that. And it was just from self-doubt. And the only thing that changed is I just stopped being a pussy, and I started writing. Actually putting my thoughts into words. I was like, wow, I like that. And I had videos like this. Because, I wouldn't be writing while I was driving home from work, but I might have a thought that just occurred to me. And it was a noisy old truck, because I used to drive my old truck. Couldn't hear the radio very well anyhow. I clipped my phone on my seatbelt and I'd listen to music that way. Well, I'd also be able to easily just hit record. Just a little button on the side, and just start recording while I was driving and just talk my fucking head off, 35 minutes in the dark driving home. Coming down old country highway, right? And once I started chit-chatting, I just got into it more. As I said, I've always been able to tell a good story. But I just have to be in the mood to want to talk. Because I just don't want to put up people's bullshit. Some people will claim to like something, and it's because they want something from you. Somehow, they find benefit for themselves in what you have. Now, you motherfucker, I don't want to even deal with you. Right? Everyone's a commodity. And I used to joke in high school about being the commodity. That was my little rhyming nickname. Me and some of the guys would have our rhymes. I still have my rhyme book with our contributions and stuff like that. And they're fun to kind of read. Nothing I could use now. Whatever you can see progression in it quite a bit. But that's a big reason I kept it, just to see the way, just... it's hard to even put in words. I've been here just chit-chatting for about 25 minutes or so now, and I can't even put words to this, thought. It's like going from jibber-jabber to an actual coherent thought. And it's so difficult to put in words because I'm talking in such a negative way by myself, being hypercritical. That I think is actually well deserved. You see, you know, elementary nature in some of the stuff, some of the rhymes, but you got to remember we're in high school and we're kind of joking. So that's kind of half the fun of it too. So I don't want to be too down on myself back then, but I've clearly gotten better at it just because there's more thought and I have broader vocabulary just from life skills alone. I might have had the words back then, but I only had the words because I could read them and I could find them in the dictionary or a thesaurus. But now I've lived so many of the words, right? It's that different. It's that different feeling, and saying something and meaning it. Yeah, that's not too cryptic. That's pretty, self-explanatory there. So whatever. But I have a lot of that comes through in my writings. My wife don't read what I write. A lot of times because she can't understand it. Again, she is Chinese. She's brilliant, fucking brilliant. And I'll tell her, yeah, you're smart. I've told her before she's smarter than me, and she kind of got a little cocky about her. Says, look here. I say you're smarter than me. You're smarter than me in your ways. I said, because that can be real sweet or kind of a smart ass way, and I like to keep that little smart ass bit with my wife because that's my girl. I like to keep it interesting. But she's brilliant. If you look at my writings and whatever, you can't really decipher them because, as I've mentioned before, poetry can't be 2D. Poetry is 3D or 4D at best. You gotta be able to see it at least. So at bare minimum, it has to be 3-dimensional. You have to be in the moment. If you just read the words, big deal. Right now, I'm looking at a picture of my daddy on the refrigerator, along with my mom. You know, her little dog, Scooter. Myself in the picture, I'm my older brother, Stuart. Well, Scooter passed away, Mom passed away, and Daddy passed away. But they're still there. I can think about times with them, and I'm brought back into that memory. Well, that's the poetic nature of life. And that's what you find in any kind of rhyme or story that just takes you back into that moment. Yeah, poems are poetic, big fucking deal. That's a stretch, asshole. Alright, save all that now. But a poem just takes you to that moment. My wife can't necessarily understand all those moments. Because there's certain words she's not privy to. If I say I'm riding in the back of an 88, she may not know what riding in the back of an 88 means. A lot of people may not know what that means. Enough people do. It's not talking about the weather. It's not talking about the year. It's talking about an Olds 88. That's not the greatest car in the world. Unless that was your car back in the day and you rode it like it was, anything. You went out there and you shined it because it was yours. You washed those tires on Friday nights or Saturday nights before you and the guys went riding because it's yours. If you're rolling in the back of the 88, it's not yours. But still, you might be some girl that got picked up. Maybe you and some of your friends got picked up and y'all going to a party. Or you and your buddy might go pick up your girlfriend and your buddy's girlfriend, and y'all go out and double date or something like that. Y'all go out and hang out. I mean, there's a lot of Americana, a lot of A lot of South, a lot of high school days and that. Actually, early college days. Had an old 88. Loved it. But my wife won't necessarily understand that. And that's just a mere example. That's not great poetry or anything. It's just kind of like a local term. And local in that is maybe more well known in urban areas and in the South. Maybe in Beverly Hills, I'll be like, what the fuck's he talking about? And maybe most folks nowadays will be like, who the fuck is that? What does he even mean? 88, huh? And they'll look up 88 and they'll see something about, other meanings of it throughout history. And I'm simply talking about a car. And I'm talking about a car in this rhyme or whatever back in, again, high school or early college days. That's it. But I don't know why else my wife wouldn't read it. It was one of those reasons. I've made songs and stuff for her, and she'll listen and she'll be like, it's pretty. But she doesn't fully understand everything in those either. But again, that's the 3D and 4D nature of a poem or a piece. If you're writing a story, okay, don't spell it out like everybody's a dumbass. Be condescending. But provide detail. If you're, writing a poem or a song like that, you can't be overly expressive or else it just loses all meaning it has. You have to have a slight bit of wonderment to it, and you can get a additional meaning out of a word, and it fits the situation, then that's great. That in itself is a poem within a poem. You just have layered rhymes and stuff like that, and what some comedians would call a callback. But if you have a similar theme throughout different sections of a piece, it's even better. And sometimes, again, you're just using a certain word or phrase here because you like the way it sounds. So to really, truly get the most out of a poem, it kind of helps to know the poet. But sometimes the poet themselves are difficult to understand. But that's just all open to interpretation. And this is just meant to be a little video while I was cleaning this fish and everything here, which has been prepared for quite a bit. It's just really allowing myself to get into this thought. So again, right now it's March 3rd, 2025. And on February 28th, 2025, that was a huge deal. And we're going to get a speech from Trump tomorrow on the 4th. And I think he's going to have a lot to deal with the events of the 28th of February and a lot of big news and stuff like that coming. I mean, Trump's quite a showman, but he's putting our country first, and I think that's great. There's big talk of push for AI, and I think AI is great too. I don't think it has the capability to take over the creative nature of man. Because man always has to create, always has to build. This is part of how we're structured on a primal level. We always have to innovate. And there's something to art of all types and all forms. Anything you do with your hands or you do with your mind, you can do it intrinsically. You don't have to be programmed to do it. And that's something that's going to be missing in AI. But that's just another thought. Alright, well, again, this is a 35-minute movie, I guess. Have a good one.